Hello, my name is Sue Atwell. I'm from the Local Enterprise Partnership, and thank you all for coming. I'm here now to talk about employment in the jobs market. In the west of England, we're quite fortunate really. Jobs market is pretty bad, but for us it's better than most. I mean, South Gloucestershire has the highest employment rate in England, so it's not a bad place to be compared to a lot of other places. Recent business surveys show that local businesses are feeling much more confident about the future than they were last year and the year before. A lot of them are now, nearly half, 49%, are thinking about growth and possible expansion. So much more buoyant, I think, here than in a lot of parts of the UK. Currently we have just over 22,500 people claiming job seekers allowance, just over 6,000 vacancies, so an average of 3.6 people for every vacancy on the market at the moment. Our labour market in the west of England, high skilled jobs are the ones tending to be more resistant to recession. Skills gaps and skills shortages are starting to emerge now at the high skill levels, and claimancy rates are increasing across low skilled occupations at a faster rate than the high skilled occupations. Part of this is because the jobs market is becoming much more competitive, so people with higher skills are working at a lower skill level, so the competition there is much fiercer. This is the current kind of snapshot of vacancies. Higher levels of vacancies, health and social care, retail and wholesale trades, financial intermediation, which tends to mean a lot of call centre type stuff, and other community, social and personal services, which is things like a state agency and things, and various random jobs. Looking at work options from leaving school, work experience. There's a new programme coming in round about the summer, September time, which is DWP funded, the youth contract. You might have heard of it. That's going to guarantee a work experience placement for every 18 to 24-year-old that wants one, so voluntary, not compulsory, where you can continue claiming benefit but gain work experience. Sector-based academies working at the moment, so they offer work experience with some pre-work training. City Bristol College and Filton College both operate those. Again, benefit continues while you're having the work experience, and it's usually around 8 weeks long in total, including the training. And you need to be claiming job seekers to be eligible. Work experience really is key to getting a job. Employers really do like people that's had some kind of work experience, not necessarily whether it's in the same field or whether it was in a holiday job, school work experience or whatever, but practical experience does count for a lot with employers. Routes into employment is what I'm going to talk about next. Skills, what employers are looking for, how to find out the skills you have, where to look for a job, how to apply, how to make yourself stand out from your competition, and how to deal with interviews. These are the skills that employers are looking for. They're ranked in order of importance by employers, starting over at the right side. So communication skills is the key skill for employers. That is the one skill that will make a difference with the majority of employers. If they don't see you have good communication skills, it will tend to mean no. They expect these skills to be fairly well developed in school leavers. Literacy and numeracy, quite high as you would expect, but then so is enthusiasm and commitment. And employers want to employ people that they think want to work for them. So again, that's quite a key skill. Lack of literacy skills is again often seen as a deal breaker by employers, so good. But attitude is key. Employers are a lot more willing to train their employees in vocational job-specific skills than they are in things like communication. They expect you to come with those already developed to an extent. When you're looking for a job, your first job, identify the skills you can offer. 5 kind of questions there to ask yourself. The key there really is to be honest with yourself, to think about things that you've done outside of necessarily of work. So what you do in your social life, what you do in your family life, you know, do you have good organisational skills, things like that. They don't necessarily have to be evidenced by work, they could be evidenced by organising football matches and things like that. Good career profiles are next step. Once you've identified your own skills, you can then match them to the skills that are required by a career and see if it's a match, or if not, the skills you need to develop to get where you want to go. When you're looking for a job, these are the kind of key routes. Internet deliberately put at the top because it is the most common method of advertising by employers nowadays. Direct.gov, that's the biggest job site in the UK, has the most vacancies. This is Bristol Local, and then Job Site's just one of many. So there are many more sites than that, but I've just put a couple up there as examples. Worth looking at company websites. If you know where you want to work, look on their own websites first, or shop windows, or wherever they kind of interact with the public, because they will often take that route before they go for other advertisement which costs them money. So it's all about trying as many avenues as possible. Recruitment agencies, again, they might be worth a look at. There's recruitment agencies that specialise in all different things, so if you can find out, once you've worked out where you want to work, find out which agency specialises in those kind of jobs and go see them. You can go see them and have a chat. You don't have to register with them. You can just turn around and say, well, I'll think about it and come back to you. You know, there's no commitment there immediately. Networking I put down. I mean, I know people leaving school don't have huge networks, but it's a good way to start off. You still do have networks of people you know, people who know other people who might be recruiting for jobs, so it's just worth telling people that you are looking for a job and what kind of a job you're looking for. You never know where something's going to come from. Be proactive as well is also quite key. You know, if you know where you want to work and you've got quite a good idea of who you would like to work for, send a speculative application, or go round and knock on their door and tell them you'd like to work for them, what you're looking for. Being proactive really does help. Targeted CVs and covering letter. Targeted CVs I put there on purpose. You can't just do a CV and send it out to 50 people. It doesn't work. They tend to know that it's a generic CV. You need to look at your CV every time you're applying for something and just check that you're highlighting the right skills. You might want to just change the order of things and bring something up to the top because it's more applicable for that job. This really is, it's a selling document. You're selling yourself to the employer, so it's your chance just to make yourself shine. You know, put the things in there that you want them to know, the skills you've got, show them that you're the right person for the job. I put a sample CV in the handouts at the back, showing a kind of skill-based CV, which is slightly different to your traditional historical one, and might be more applicable for people leaving school, where you highlight the skills you have at the beginning of it, rather than the jobs you've had, because you won't have had many. Online tends to be exactly the same process. You attach a CV, and then you put your covering letter in the little box at the side. So good idea there to just do it on Word and then just copy and paste it in. Covering letter gives you a chance to, again, just highlight the skills you think you have that are most appropriate for the job. No more than a page, keep it quite short, only one kind of skill or one point per paragraph. And again, do it specifically for each job. Application forms. If the employer's requested an application form, that's what they want. Don't be tempted to put CV and just staple it to the back or something, because they'll just chuck it in the bin. If they put write in black ink, they won't, they'll just think, well, they can't follow a simple instruction. How are they going to follow my instructions at work if you write in blue? They do tend to put write in black because it photocopies better, but they don't necessarily explain that. Read the form first before you start filling in the boxes to make sure you know what's going where, and it's always a good idea to photocopy it first and have a practice one and then submit the proper one. When you finish doing all of these documents, spell check and do a grammar check. Don't rely on Word or anything to do your spell checking, do it yourself. It's much better. And keep a copy of any application forms you've sent off. If you do get an interview, you know what you've said, and you can refer to it. All right, the clicker's not working. Personal statement. It's shown often on a lot of CVs, a statement at the top. The key to this really is to make it specific to you. Try to avoid phrases like I'm hardworking, energetic, ambitious. Anybody can put that. It doesn't really mean anything unless you can add a specific reason. You can say I'm hardworking because I've had to develop this by having a job, studying and playing football at the same time and managing everything. But you can't just say I'm hardworking. It doesn't mean anything. If you can't think of anything specific and example to say, then don't have a personal statement. It's not necessary. It's optional. Experience is in everything we do, though, so it's quite acceptable to put down experience that you've gained in a social setting, not just in a work setting. Then, how to stand out from the competition. It is a very competitive market. Research the company you're applying for. You can do that online, or if it's shops or something, just go in and have a look at the kind of things they're selling. And if you're going in to apply for a job, try and wear the types of clothes they're selling, not necessarily the same brand, but the same kind of style. Things like that do help. Be proactive. Go out and look for work wherever you can think of. Make the employer feel special. If you're going out looking for a job along the local high street or something, don't just approach it like a leafleting. Just try and have a conversation with people in there and make them think that you're just applying for a job in their shop. It does make a difference. The employer really wants to feel that you want to work for them, not just want to work. I know that's probably the case. You might just want a job, but just don't tell them that. Volunteering, work experience, all good ways to show the employer that you've done more than what you have to do. Again, it's looked on well by employers. You have to go to school, but if you've done a little bit extra, they know that you've done that on a voluntary basis, so they're impressed by that kind of commitment. So if you have any opportunity to do anything like that, then I would recommend doing it. Interviews. Again, do some research, find out background. It's very easy on the internet now. Think of some questions they might ask you. Practice them beforehand, either with a friend, a family member, or just on your own, but sometimes quite useful, although it seems stupid at the time, just to say your answers out loud, because you can hear how they sound. And be punctual, tidy, and just be yourself. Enthusiasm really does help. You know, if you can be enthusiastic, it will really help you. And if you're prepared, you'll feel much more confident when you're in there. It will help you feel more relaxed and more in control, because you'll have thought a bit about what you're going to say rather than being taken by surprise on the day. And then I've just put down a couple of sites again where you can get more help and information. nextstep.direct.gov.uk. There's a lot of advice there specifically for young people. Direct.gov.uk, job search tips. Again, really good tips, but that's tends to be for all ages, so not necessarily specific for young people, but still worth a look. Still some really good and useful tips. And then I put some handouts at the back with lots of information about CVs and letters and stuff like that. Okay, thank you.